right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Over the Bar. My name is Adeoye Salem. Well, the Champions League semi-final is over, and as it stands right now, all the tension, I'm drinking water to it. I'm drinking water for those who felt that this is their year that they're going to win the Champions League. Toast of water to them. I'm drinking water to those who felt like, yes, this is their year and they cannot be stopped. They are not in England, they're in Spain. I'm drinking water to them. And it's not Real Madrid. I'm also drinking water to those who did not play in the Champions League, who are playing in Europa, and who are also playing in the Workshop League, and who are saying that at least this season they are going to win a trophy. Well, it's the season of trolls, it's the season of bants and banter, it's the season where everyone wants to shoot down the other. I've got two gentlemen in the building. These two gentlemen are owing each other pepper soup. I don't even know which one is owing who, but at the end of the day, we will get there. Ladies and gentlemen, I have Segun Sams and Jeremiah Omodarato. How do I start? Okay, Segun Sams, our market.
Well, market is not fine, but we move on.
When you say market is not fine, how do you mean?
Actually, we all know what went down drain last few days. Champions League, we're out. Beaten, not black and blue, beaten by PSG. So we thought it's going to be our year. Maybe our own doing still. But I think we'll go again next season.
So basically, you
better equipped.
Okay, so Jeremiah.
Yes, sir.
What do you have to say
About myself?
The only English team in this year's semi-final Champions League, they got knocked out by another team in France, aka the Farmers League. And what would you have to say about that?
All right, kudos to us now. They did really well. They proved to us that they have something to show after several seasons of developing and arranging. You understand? But I think they got carried away by their win against Real Madrid. They got carried away and they did the assignments right, but it worked against Madrid, but it never worked against PSG, because I saw that PSG were a team that they were more composed and they were ready to accept the pressure you are bringing. Understand? They had a strategy to counter Arsenal's strategy. Understand? So, and I can say the PSG won based on individual brilliance.
No, individual brilliance and not team brilliance to you.
I can't really. Arsenal played as a team, but that individual brilliance was lacking. That could pull them through.
Okay.
In the first leg, we saw several chances.
I like to
saved.
All the form there. I like to maybe say let's restructure that a bit. Let's say, because I saw a PSG team that were cohesive, they were compact, they were cohesive. They played as a team. They attacked and defended as a team.
Yes.
But then they had the edge with individual brilliance. I think
Yes.
I feel that's a better way to say it.
Exactly, because from the first leg we saw brilliant save from
Donnarumma.
It was clinical because those saves were a 70-30, 70 chance of getting the goal and 30% of saving it. But we saw saves in the second leg too. The one that shocked me was that Bukayo Saka's Koila. I never expected that. In fact, Molanule, it was magnificent.
Olanule be gotada.
Long. And I believe the mentality Arsenal brought into the second leg was that we are coming here to win. But
is it a wrong mentality?
It's a good mentality, but the mistake was made in the first leg because the tifo, you understand? I'm sorry to talk about that.
I don't see. Every time people talk about the tifo, what does the tifo have to do with whatever's happening on the field of play?
No, it does nothing. You understand?
It's just an extra hype.
It's just like, okay, let me talk about Real Madrid. The tifo was crazy against Arsenal. They locked up the stadium. They still lost. Athletic Bilbao.
What's your football tifo?
Yes, Bilbao also before the game.
Welcome to hell.
welcome to hell. I don't know why you welcome the devil to hell. You understand? So the outside the stadium was very, very full. Everywhere was crowded. Even when I saw it, I was afraid. People in the stadium was filled with Bilbao colors, but still yet they lost. So it does not really mean, but in some cases, those chants, those encouragement from those players, from those fans, encourage the teams too. But if you see PSG the second leg, they were whistling against Arsenal players. They were doing a lot of things just to discourage Arsenal players.
I still haven't. I'm going to say this. You spoke about individual brilliance.
Yes.
You spoke about team effort.
Yes.
I get you. I'd like to ask Segun, first of all, looking at how your team lined up, what went wrong for us now this season? This in the semi-finals, I beg your pardon.
Yeah, it boils down to January transfer window. Let me just say, where we couldn't even get a striker. That panned out really bad for us.
But you've managed.
We've tried to. Yeah, we've been managing it, but it just couldn't. We couldn't contain it on Wednesday. You know, we've been doing that, trying to manage it. If you observe, like prior to Champions League semi-final, even both legs, we've been having some abysmal performances from
in the league.
Exactly.
Okay.
You know, we've been having draws here. Even we lost one to Bournemouth, and so it's been coming against Bournemouth. We could have ended that game in the first half of the match. Do you understand? But still, we lost that game. Why?
Lack of a classical
Striker.
Not a classical, a clinical finisher.
Yes.
I beg your pardon.
So that actually came to play against PSG. The first 5-10 minutes, it was all Arsenal.
Yes.
Not just all Arsenal. Like attempt on attempt. There was a chance. There was a shot played by Odegaard. That chance, I never
expected the keeper to save.
I did not even know how he got to save that. That chance was not even 7:30. That was 90.
95-5.
Or 95. I'm telling you, because it was already blocked.
Donnarumma
It was blocked. The shot was coming straight down. But
the bottom corner.
I feel personally though that in the finals we setting ourselves up for a battle of the goalkeepers.
Exactly. Jan Sommer.
Every time I looked at I see the replay, I'm like, how did Arsenal lose this match? Now, yes, everyone is talking about a clinical finisher. I agree, definitely. I hope that somewhere, somehow, someone in the board can, come out and say, look, Mikel Arteta, we're sorry, we did you in this time around. You get my point? Because why am I saying that? I've had several interactions with people on Twitter, even with Puja. I had to tell him that when he was like saying Arteta did not sign a striker, I had to Alain, calm down. Arteta is also a staff of Arsenal Football Club. He can only say, this is the profile of the striker that I want. In fact, this social person fits the striker, the profile. Mind you, it's not every time, it doesn't have enough time to go to France to go and check. So that's why we have scouts. But if at the end of, it's not even involved in negotiation until maybe a later stage, or maybe when they need to speak to the player. No manager is involved in negotiation, except if the club says you have 100%, and everybody keeps coming towards me at Mikel Arteta, and I'm like, no, it's not Arteta's fault. Somebody in the board needs to stand up and take responsibility and say, we failed this manager. I don't know if anyone else would agree with me on that one.
Yes.
you're very correct about that.
But then when I don't even know. So people now make references to the likes of a Man City or the likes of a Liverpool, and I've been seeing a lot of other pundits come out and say Arteta should leave when you consider the amount of money he has spent. Jurgen Klopp has only won Champions League in his entire career. And it wasn't until he got to Liverpool that he won that, and he won that 6 years or so after.
The only trophy he won twice was the Carabao Cup. Others, he won them once. Yes, he won the league once, he won the Champions League once. Everything once.
People
It's truth.
People actually fail to forget, or let me just say, people fail to get the fact that this is Arteta's first managerial job ever, like in his entire life.
They will
It's
talk
just
about
4 to 5 years to this. You comparing Luis Enrique? What's
Luis Enrique,
Luis Enrique?
PSG. Who did it with
He
Barcelona?
won treble. He won the last Champions League Dakar won.
You,
2015.
do you understand? You comparing? Can you imagine? You comparing St. Mateta to Jurgen Klopp that has been. You comparing the same Mateta to only and Slot that has been. This guy just-
Wait, are you? But is that not an excuse? Should we use that as an excuse?
Yeah,
To say that look, he's not ripe enough to win this yet.
He is rap. See, he's built. I told someone this morning while we were arguing on one of the Snars WhatsApp group I have. I said, bro, this guy was actually building a team, and he has built the team. See, it takes process, and he has done that. Look at us. Where were we 5 years ago? Where we did for table? Where we did? Now where Unai Emery carry?
I want Jeremiah to answer that question, but I don't want him to answer it as an analyst. I want him to answer it as a banterist.
Okay.
As a banterist.
Please, can you
Where
come
we
again?
dey?
It's simple. Where were we 5 years ago?
We were where we were.
I get that. You understand?
But
So you're not putting all those things in context. All what you want is Arteta out. Why?
he spent over 700 million.
Thank you to build a team, to build a standard team.
That team is not standard yet, by my own.
It is.
Let me explain when I say it's not
It is.
standard yet.
The
I
only,
will explain.
the only thing eluding that team is the final. One match to the final, and you say it's not.
Let me explain when I said that team is not standard yet. I will explain.
And a striker.
When you look at your first 11, I've been a Martinelli defender, you know me, but Martinelli right now, when I look at the Champions League,
Shadow of himself.
No, it's not a question of shadow of himself. I love what Martinelli is doing, but it doesn't fit the profile of certain matches, and I would explain. There are times when you need an all-out winger who can do the same thing that a Vinicius Junior is doing, and Ousmane Dembele is doing, a Bakola will do, a Kvaratskhelia will do. But for me, sometimes Martinelli cannot do that. But Martinelli has one edge: his ability, not just to run. I think that's where people keep blaming him. That's what they keep blaming him for. The ability to defend. Now when you say to run, now when I'm thinking about it again, the ability to walk his socks off. He is 90 minutes. He is consistently active, going forward, going backward. So, what do I mean when I say that team is not standard? Now you now need an extra person who there are times when you need somebody to hold the ball, do those jobs that when if a Martinelli comes in the second half, which is what they use Trossard for. But the moment Trossard starts, I'm not a fan of Trossard starting any game, and there are stats to prove that.
Of course. And I'm not a fan of Trossard starting as well too. I said it so many times here because he's a very good sub, like super sub. You know, probably he came in. He got us that goal against PSG, right? Yes. In short, he even got us the second one, only for Saka to, you know,
also the top.
Man,
Saka Nunes did.
If that goal had entered, bro.
I like to ask you this too. Are you blaming Saka for that miss?
No, I'm not blaming. I'm not entirely blaming him for that. But I believe he would have done better. A good striker would have done better than that. I'm just saying.
I think Donnarumma scared him off.
But
it's not that. I have it. Let me explain.
And still, it's not. Taking it back. It's not about the striker. Anybody in that position can lose or score that goal.
I'll explain why I asked that question.
Anybody,
and
why a keeper.
Why I am not blaming him. Double bounced. That was a slight bounce.
Yeah,
and
slight touch from Donnarumma. Fine.
A slight bounce, a slight touch. Now this is the thing. He is running full speed. a lot of people who have played football who play football at Paje or in their local field tend to think that football on their local field is the same football on that big field. I like to just take 10 people to National Stadium, even with the grasses there. Let's just run around for 15 minutes.
Almost course.
I must cost Nikoni.
Body could tell you.
Now, that ball bounced. Two things. Donnarumma did his job well.
100%.
The ball bounced, and once those two things happen, there's a shift in momentum. If that ball did not bounce, why do you think Ozil perfected the art of bouncing the ball in front of goalkeepers? It changes the trajectory of, and the moment that ball bounces, he is not in any position to control his run again.
Exactly.
So I think it's a pity. Somebody said that the God of soccer just wants us to have another year of banter against Arsenal.
Like this guy said, I believe we are getting there for real. And I even think we are there. We're just like a striker away from being a monster.
No,
I would say Arsenal is a striker.
I disagree with that.
I would say Arsenal is a striker and 2 midfielders away.
No, I disagree with that.
Okay.
Because look at Arsenal squad depth. They need more players, more than 8 players.
No, not 8. I would
Okay, let's
explain.
more than 5 players. Let me say 5.
One of the things that you've ignored is the fact that if you say more than 5 players, you're ignoring the fact that
We have a lot of injured players in that team.
Injured, a lot.
Yes, I said a lot.
How many?
And I'm
as
saying
at the first leg of the Champions League, that's 7 players out.
And are you kidding?
Apart from Gabriel.
Yeah.
Yes, total with Gabriel of 7, and
Everybody.
all of those 7
We
are
got
actually
7
like for
standard.
starters.
Come
Starters.
on.
Yes, they if he decides to rotate,
The
they will
depth
start.
there.
I'm not talking about players like Kai Havertz. No, out of this. Out of this.
I no. Are you
That-
saying if we had Kai Havertz in that
Hold
match?
on, are you saying that Kai Havertz is not an Arsenal starter?
He's trying.
Okay, wait.
I'm sorry. I prefer Merino up front.
Come on.
No, that's.
There are a lot
that's
of chances he will Nunes. You understand?
Ooh,
Kai
Havertz.
Even that Saka. He will
I
Nunes.
think there's a problem here. And Kai Havertz, first of all, is not an all-out or an all-out
Yes, he's a
striker.
9.5.
But the thing about Kai Havertz is the same advantage that if you bring a Sesko to Arsenal, and Havertz may start ahead of him.
Don't even see the difference between Havertz and Sesko.
Work rate. But then that's something we'll discuss when the season is over.
Speed.
When the season is over, those are some of the things we will discuss.